And I wanted to talk about these hypersonic missiles a little bit, Brad, because I saw a former UN weapons analyst, and he was talking about the fact that some of the stuff that we're sending into Ukraine has the ability to fire hypersonic missiles. I don't know whether or not they have those missiles, but if they did and they were to fire one at Russia, here's what he said would happen. Those missiles fired from Ukraine would only take about 5 minutes to hit any place in Russia. That gives the generals, that gives the people in Russia, and who knows what the hell they're doing in the middle of the night? Who knows how much vodka they've consumed? Who knows what the hell their mindset might be? It gives them 5 minutes to decide what to do. And if it's aimed at a target where their command and control is, it would be viewed as a decapitation strike with these hypersonic missiles. That means they are mandated. They have military protocol written down that's known. They have to respond accordingly with nuclear weapons. And if the hypersonic missiles were successful, let's say they actually went in before they could do anything in 5 minutes and destroyed their command and control. He said the Russians have what's called dead hand technology, that their missiles would fire regardless of how effective we were or how effective Ukraine or NATO was at destroying command and control in Russia. And he said what he warned about, the thing that terrified him the most, were these hypersonic missiles that you're writing about.
Yeah, as I mentioned, the guardrails have been removed with the development of these new technologies. And hypersonic missiles, they come in two forms. There's the hypersonic cruise missile, which is basically a ballistic missile flying at Mach 5. And then there's the hypersonic glide missiles, which can fly at speeds of up to Mach 20. It's 20 times the speed of sound. And they can change direction at the last minute. So you don't know where they're heading until the last minute. And it used to be that when ICBMs were launched from the Soviet Union in the 50s, it would take hours to get here. So there was that amount of reaction time. And then those hours were reduced to an hour, to 30 minutes, to 15 minutes, to 6 minutes. And it's really unrealistic to think that President Biden or any military commander anywhere in the world is going to have the capability to respond to a perceived nuclear attack in 6 minutes. So they create these dead hand or automated nuclear computerized responses. It's basically AI that they're using. And the Soviets actually adopted this. It was known as perimeter in the 1980s. They employed this computerized response. And what happens is the computerized, in the case of a nuclear attack, it becomes automated. And they will do a scan to see if there's anybody in the military leadership left alive, say in America or in the Soviets, at that time, the Soviet Union. If the computers determine that there's nobody in military command left alive, they will scan the land to see if a nuclear attack has occurred, and then they will launch all remaining nuclear missiles. So it all becomes automated at that point. That's something that we are moving forward to. So the Russians said they took that offline, but we have no guarantee that they did that. We've asked them, their response has basically been, it's none of your business. Whether we have such an AI automated response in place, who knows? Who knows at this point? But again, when you start compressing the reaction time to just minutes, you've got to determine, this is a missile. Is it nuclear tipped? Who fired it? Where is it heading? What kind of damage is it going to do? And am I going to respond? It's irrational to think that you can do that in that short of amount of time. And when you read these papers that are written about this, the analysts, they get very lost in the weeds in this thing. They talk about a preemptive strike that could occur in America that would take the hardline communications offline. And then it would switch to softline communications. And what they're talking about in that initial strike is 100 million Americans that have just died.
God.
But then we go to softline, as if there's a sense of survival after that point. The remaining 250 million Americans are living in conditions that we cannot even conceive of. Civilization has ended. It's tribal survival at that point. There's no food, there's no power, there's no electric, there's no service, there's no law and order. But, they just continue to develop these technologies. There's money in them. And I really think that they don't step back the way citizens, the way you and I do, and say, this is insane. This is mad. This is really mad. I didn't vote to give you the power to destroy me and the world. and we need to step back from this.